Hey everybody, welcome back to Elevator Pitch. My name is Joe Ennis, and today I am talking to Selina Bornes. Selina is a mindset strategist who specifically works with women to help them feel more confident and better themselves in both the business world and just day-to-day life. Selina has a blueprint that she calls the Polish Your Mirror Blueprint, which she talks a lot about and what kind of that means to kind of, make sure that you can look at yourself in a confident, correct light. I think it has, more to do with women, but I think it kind of applies to everyone. I think everyone can kind of get something out of this. But it was a really great talk. I really enjoyed having her on, and she's a very, very smart woman. So stay tuned for that. Also, I just wanted to let you know, we would love if you would subscribe to the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple or Spotify. Click that subscribe button so that we know how many people are listening. Kind of gives us an idea of, how to grow the show and what we're working with. So thank you again for listening. Enjoy the episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to Elevator Pitch. My name is Joe Ennis, and today I am talking with Selina Bornes. Selina, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. It's a pleasure.
So, Selina, tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, well, like you said, I am Selina Bornes, and I am a mindset strategist. I'm on a personal mission to change women's lives by helping them become more confident versions of themselves. And what I do is I provide them with strategies to identify and pursue their purpose and create lifestyles that they desire with what I call my Polish Your Mirror Blueprint.
Cool. And before we continue, can you tell us a little bit about what the Polish My Mirror Blueprint is?
Yes, definitely. I'd love to. What the Polish Your Mirror Blueprint is, and what I say is, we all are born with a clean slate in life. I like to call it a clean mirror. But as we experience and share things in our lives, our mirrors get so many fingerprints on them. I mean, I'm talking about fingerprints of our parents' ideas for us, fingerprints of failed relationships, fingerprints of hurt, shame, all that negative self talk. So we tend to walk around in life looking into these mirrors that are full of smudges and fingerprints from other people that you really can't see yourself clearly or properly identify who you are or what it is that you want to do with your life. And you rely on other people's opinions and direction, which means that you're not living the life that you really desire for yourself. So when I say polish your mirror, I mean that you take and you just wipe that clean, wipe away everyone else's thoughts, wipe away everyone else's opinions, and everyone else's direction for your life. That means that you are pursuing what you want to do freely and finding balance and just maximizing who you are and living your best authentic life and then also maximizing the potential in everything that you do.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
in your coaching field, and I think you'll speak a little bit to it. You mainly help women,
Right.
correct? You mainly coach women. So, what are some of the main issues that you see when in your field of, I don't know, just coaching in general, but
Mhm.
things that you usually try and tackle with a lot of your clients?
Well, what I see, and it's something that a lot of women really sort of keep buried deep down inside. No one wants to really acknowledge or say publicly that they have low self-esteem. No one wants to really say publicly that, well, yes, I procrastinate and I don't get anything done. No one wants to really admit some of these things. And so the women that I work with, a lot of times, they've gotten to the point in their lives where they figured enough is enough and they're self-aware enough to realize I need to make a change because I need to move forward. Something's holding me back. And so what I'm seeing a lot of is a self-esteem issue, is not being able to clearly establish boundaries and stick with them. And those are the main things that women come to me for.
That's cool. And so there's a lot of coaches out there now.
Right.
There's a lot of health and wellness coaches. There's a lot of business
Right.
coaches.
Right.
There's a lot of coaches. What
Right.
kind of sets you apart from other coaches out there?
Well, I like this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says the only person that you are destined to become is the one that you decide to be. And what I do is I teach women how when they see themselves, when they stand in front of a physical mirror, that's only a reflection of how they see themselves in the internal mirror of their minds. I mean, I help them, take action to get rid of those that negative, repetitive self thoughts, and just to replace them with positive thoughts, because when you are consistently feeding yourself positivity, it changes the actions that you take in your life. And when you change the actions, you are on the great path to actually changing your life. Now, one of my clients said that my superpower is my belief in who they are and what they can achieve. Because what I do is I encourage them while at the same time pushing them out of their comfort zone. Because a lot of people in general like to stay in that comfort zone, which doesn't allow them to flourish. And so when I push them out of their comfort zone, I also provide them with the tools that are best for their journey. And I teach them what I've learned from my mentors is that they are what they think. And it sounds simple, but it really isn't, because it requires a lot of work. But when you change the mirror of your mind, you can change your life. So that's what I try to explain to them. I said, when you improve the image in the mirror of your mind, your life starts to change to reflect that image.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Selena, why is it so important, do you think, that people really take a step back and look at, the mirror of their life and look at kind of how they've, approached their work or their lifestyle, and why it's a good, why it's important to care about stepping back and looking how you've gone through life and looking at things you potentially need to change?
That's a good question. And that saying, what's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
A lot of times, people they do the same things and they wonder why they're getting the same results. I mean, once they are on that circle of the negative thinking, the not believing in themselves, the low self-esteem, the not being able to establish boundaries. And then they go into relationships, not only in a relationship with a spouse, but relationships with their friends, their coworkers. And then they wonder why I'm getting these same results. I'm not moving forward. That's why it's just very important, because you know, you know yourself, right, Joe?
Yeah. I like to think I do.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, really deep down, because only you know exactly what your limitations are. You know exactly what you're feeding yourself, what things you have playing on the record in your mind. And so when you realize that, maybe I'm just being a little bit too hard on myself, or I'm always thinking that, someone else is better than me, or I'm always thinking that I just am not competent, then that that's a sign that you need to maybe find someone who can help you get out of that circle of negativity.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Um, Selena, what are some tips that you would give people even here today that maybe are listening to this and are like, huh, this is something that, I haven't necessarily done for myself, but I need to do? Are there any tips that you would recommend to people to just start kind of taking a look back, or looking at the mirror of their life?
Mhm.
Are there resources or just places you recommend starting, maybe questions to ask themselves, things like that?
Oh, yes, most definitely. One of the things that I initially have women do is to journal. And a lot of people, they think about back in the day when we used to keep diaries and whatnot. It's pretty much the same thing, because when you get the thoughts out of your head and onto paper, it allows you to actually sit back outside of yourself and take a look and see what changes need to be made. And that's sort of what happened with me. I mean, I was for a long time back in the day, a single mom raising three very young children. And when I got married the second time, we had issues with communication and just trying to do this whole blended family thing. And looking back on it now, I realized that, I just didn't use my voice, and my energy sort of dictated the tone of the home. And it wasn't until my youngest daughter was 16 at the time, when she ran away from home. And it just sort of like a light bulb went off, an aha moment that said, wait a minute, stop. I needed to stop and take charge and make changes in how I was approaching the situation. And I wanted to show my children that it was okay to express themselves and how to effectively deal with conflict. And I hired my first coach to actually help me get the words out of my head and get the thoughts out of my head and onto paper, which led to me writing my very first book. And which was, I was like amazed. I wrote this book about an internal journey of discovering my voice and improving communication in my blended family. And so the first step I would suggest is journaling.
Cool. That's awesome. That's a great idea. So Selina, if people want to work with you, do you have kind of, I know you work with a lot of women. Is there, but I do want to ask the question, who are your ideal clients? Is it like anyone? Is it women? Is it specifically entrepreneur like women? Is it, stay at home moms? Who do you like to work with? Who are you best able to serve?
Well, and women, like you said, women is a very general term,
Yeah.
right? But most of the women that I work with are entrepreneurs, and but like I said before, there could be a stay-at-home mom who has gotten to the point where she feels like she needs some assistance with certain things. And I don't turn those type of women away. So I know women is a general term, but if you fall in a category where you feel like you need the assistance, you need someone to help you get out of your own way, then yes, I'm there for you.
Awesome. That's great. And,
Yeah.
I think too, it's important to note that you've kind of done both. You've been
Right.
there, like you said.
Exactly.
You've done the mother. The struggles of motherhood, and the
Exactly.
struggles of the entrepreneur world, and so you're able to help both. Then I think that's really
Exactly.
cool. I think that's really
Exactly.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a mother. Like I mentioned, one of my mentors is also my pastor, and one of the things that he told me was, you're living your life with periods behind your titles. Mother period, wife period, daughter period. But that God didn't give us periods; He gave us commas, and that we can be all that He says that we can be. And so, what I teach women is to stop putting those limitations on your life. Don't just look at yourself as just a wife, just a mother, just a daughter. You can be anything you want to be. And I mean, there's a whole lot more out there when you just put the comma behind whatever your title is, and you can discover a whole lot more of what you are capable of.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Selina, if people wanted to get in touch with you, work with you,
Mhm.
plug away. This is the part of the show where just let people know what you've got going on. You said, you wrote a book. Let people know where they can get that. Let people know how they
Mhm.
can, get involved.
Oh, definitely. Well, my book is called All That Glitters: From Selfishness and Despair to Restoration, and that can be found on Amazon. I can also be found on Facebook. I have a Ladies Circle of Success group, and I'm on Instagram as Selina Bornes. And I'm just venturing out into this whole TikTok thing. I don't know if you've gone there yet,
A
but
little bit. Not really.
venturing out into this TikTok thing, TikTok Selina Bornes. And I also have a YouTube channel, Ladies Circle of Success. I also have a podcast, which is the Polish Your Mirror podcast. And that can also be found on all of the podcast channels, Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts. But then I also have a website, selinabornes.com.
Cool. Awesome. And listeners, as always, everything Selina Bornes is in the description of this episode, whether you're listening on Apple or Spotify or on YouTube, check the description and you can get everything Selina Bornes. I am 100% certain that she would love to talk to you if you need any help at all, if you have questions, if you just need someone to talk to. Selina would love to hear from you. Selina, thank you again so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, I want to thank Selina one more time for coming on. It was a great episode. I learned a lot, and I think it was very valuable. Everyone, please remember to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. That would mean the world to us. Thank you guys again for listening. If you want to work with us, please reach out. Thanks again.